Yo.
What up? What up?
What's going on?
Dude.
Hey.
What's the what is today? What episode are we on?
205. It is a Wednesday,
baby. You know that's my weight too. 205, baby.
You down? You down?
Go,
let's go.
I had somebody ask me this weekend. They're just like, man, did you lose weight? And I'm like, yeah. You know, told them like the whole shit and kind of like how I'm maintaining now. And then she goes, yeah, I see your butt got smaller.
Damn.
And I'm like, I was like, all right, well, we know what you've been looking at.
Thanks. I see your butt got smaller. Like, sorry to just point you.
Yeah, right.
God damn. No, so do some squats tomorrow. That's
Yeah, I
basically
guess
what
so,
she's telling
man.
you, bro. Do some squats. Now you're going to be in the gym like one of those gym thoughts.
Yeah. Taking pictures of me. Like
Yeah, set your phone up on the floor, like to record you doing squats and shit. Yeah, you go to the gym and everybody's got their fucking phone on a tripod and while they're doing their exercises.
Thank God, man. There's like, off the top of my head, man, there's like one guy. And you know, there is a woman that does that shit too, occasionally. But I'm always looking at that shit, and I'm like, man, what are you like? Neither like they're both in decent shape, but not like I'm gonna follow you shape.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, whenever I see a guy doing that, I just hug him.
Nah, man, I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, because then everybody catch you looking up. I'm like, nah, bro. Clearly, you need the attention. Let me give you the hug. I'm like, oh, you didn't have a dad. I'm like, bring it in.
Yo, welcome back, everybody, to the Carpet Footman Podcast. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit them with the drink of the day.
Bro, we got a little spice for you, literally, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while, man. I forgot how much I like this Ancho Reyes, man. It's been a minute since we used the Ancho Reyes, man. But we got the pineapple spice and everything nice this week. It got a handful of ingredients in it, but it is simple, and it's stuff that you guys can mostly find in your local store. So in a shaker, you're going to muddle a half ounce of agave with a generous portion of some mint leaves. Muddle that real nice, throw in some ice, add 2 ounces of the Espolón tequila. Did I get that right? Yep. The Espolón tequila, 3/4 ounce of some Ancho Reyes. If you haven't had it, it's you guys will see it on the YouTube, but it's a chili poblano liqueur. It is good. We've used this on here before, so you guys listen to the pod. I think this might be the 3rd or 4th drink we might have made with that. And it never disappoints, man. Always delivers. So 3/4 ounce of that. Half an ounce of pineapple juice, half an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. Shake that up real nice. Pour it in a rock slide filled with ice. Garnish with some mint and dehydrated lime. You don't have to use dehydrated lime. Just saying, it's gonna be lame if you don't do that.
That's just for looks.
It's just for the aesthetics. It looks pretty. And then the mint, it really does make a big difference. So make sure you crack the mint with the clap in there. It does the scent of the mint really does add to the drink. One of the things we went back and forth on this one, and one of the things we think we'll probably have to try is maybe adding some coconut rum to it as well, but we didn't on this variation of it. But I think it is something that could use that. I also still think we could throw some banana liqueur in it too. It might be.
I don't know how the banana's going to taste, man. We're going to have to try it out.
Yeah, we're going to have to just experiment one day with just bring this out and then just bring a bunch of other shit and then just start trying variations of it. But yeah, try that one, man. Pineapple spice and everything nice. It's delicious. It's refreshing and then has a kick all at the same time. So it's awesome. So hence the name. So try that out, man.
All right, man. Hit me with the carbon footprint. What we doing this week?
Yeah, I think it has to be as far as like impact and also just historic. It hasn't happened is LeBron James and his son like officially playing their first game together.
Yeah.
Like I know we talked about it on here before. You know, I know we got into the nepotism talk and all that, and but it's actually happened. They've spent minutes on the floor together.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, his son only had a couple of minutes in there. It wasn't. I don't think it's fair to talk about his play per se yet, but I think it's really, really cool to talk about just that moment. And
Yeah.
you can just see LeBron, man, like every time they showed him on camera walking into even the arena, like just how excited he was. During the game, how excited he was. There was a clip where they cut to him coaching his son, sort of like telling him where to be, what to do, whatever. Like,
Well, the first one that I saw, man, was him telling his sons before they went on the floor together. He's just like, yo, like you see the crowd, like don't worry about them, like just go out there. Don't worry about making mistakes. Like just go out there and play hard.
yeah.
And then they were out there literally for 3 minutes. And during that time, LeBron actually hits him with a pass, and he's on the 3-point line, and he shoots, and he misses. Not so much for the miss is why I'm mentioning it, more so that the crowd, so they're in LA, and you can tell that the crowd wanted this shit to work.
Oh, yeah.
And probably still do. But they were waiting to like erupt. If he would have hit that
Oh, my
three-pointer,
God, that arena would have lost the top, bro.
yeah, they would have. But he played for 3 minutes. It got pulled out. Obviously, they threw him in just to kind of to make history. But I thought it was a really cool moment for LeBron, and then also for his son, man. And I actually used this moment because I was watching this shit with my sons, and I go, "Yo, kudos to Bronny, because growing up a multi-millionaire, to have the work ethic."
Yeah.
To even, whether you believe he should be in the NBA or not,
Right.
the guy has put in an insane amount of work to get there.
Yeah. Like he didn't just get the opportunity because he's LeBron's son.
Correct.
You have to put in a certain level of work, to do that. Like we can argue about his talent, but it doesn't seem like there was a lack of effort.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. And the guy has talent, right?
Yeah.
Does he belong in the NBA? I don't know. That's not really for me to say.
Yeah, I also think it's unfair. It's like Michael Jordan's kids. Like remember they played.
They played here,
it's
right?
Yeah, they played here. It's unfair to like. I would never touch a ball if I was Michael Jordan's kid. Like it's just, it's not fair. Yeah. It's just. But
No, and you never, and I was telling my son this. I go, LeBron is a once in a generation talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't expect Bronny to come in and be that.
Right.
But like again, kudos to him for he could have just sat back. And again, I don't want to get into how he was raised or whatever, but
Yeah,
he was
could've
definitely he could have sat back and did a whole lot
lived off
less.
his name with a lot less.
That's
yeah.
right.
Dude, and not for nothing, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
it's
the
good.
other thing I think that gets lost in this is also a kid that a year ago had a very serious health issue where he collapsed during his first practice or first week or first month of practice in college, potentially not just career threatening, life threatening heart issues that he had. And so to go from that to within a year playing an NBA basketball game, I think it's also something else that gets lost in this. Like there was scary moments where they thought this kid was gonna die potentially. And so to your point, to overcome that even adversity and getting back to a place where you feel comfortable playing, basketball, not just basketball, but basketball at the highest
At the high level, man.
And I will say, I only got to see, I didn't get a chance to see him actually play. I was watching the game, and then I think I eventually crashed, but I did see the
much,
highlights.
though.
It wasn't much, right? Yeah, but he didn't look like, you weren't going oh, that kid doesn't belong on the floor, right? Like the way he was moving with everyone else. Again, this is very superficial, just thing. Yep. But we can tell, usually, especially with rookies, you ever watch a game and you go the first time they touch the ball, it's oh, you don't belong there.
Right.
And basketball is this is why we let 18-year-olds play in the NBA, or used to anyway. Basketball is very telling right out of the gate. It's not basketball is not like football, where physically you need to grow into your body to be able to excel, right? It helps, right? Certainly you will get better, but you can be 18 years old at basketball and still compete at that high level because talent's talent, right? He didn't look overwhelmed. So yeah, shout out to him, man. I thought it was a cool moment. I thought it was awesome that Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. made an appearance. you know, like just showing up to the game together. I think because they realized like how historic it was. You know, obviously they had done it in MLB, and we've had a couple of pairs do it in MLB since. But you know, I think they were the first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know, but this is the first for the NBA.
Yeah, absolute first for the NBA. And listen, and I think it's not only just like, hey, your kid has to be good enough to do it. It's like we've had father-son duels in the NBA, just never together. Because first off, LeBron had to stay relevant and good enough long enough for this to happen, right? Like, so like he's a 20-year career. Obviously he's in the NBA right out of high school, so it helps, right, that he got his start early, but also he's still in the league, you know, at 20, you know, years later, 20 plus, 21, 22 years later.
He's about to be 40.
He's about to be 40, so he's talking about 20 season 21, season 22 for him, and still one of the best players in the league, but just to still be playing is wild. So he had to make it this far.
And not for nothing, man. Last night watching him, which I'm a huge LeBron fan. I know you are too. He's still playing at a high level, man. And I'm
he's
watching
still top 10 in the NBA,
night,
bro.
dude. So it's just it's incredible. And the old guy in me goes, man, it's just coming to an end. That's sad.
It is, yeah.
But I'm also grateful for being able to watch him. Like, and I was telling my sons yesterday, I go, man, like I watched, you know, he was such a phenom that ESPN was showing his high school games.
Yeah, not showing him pulling up in his Hummer in high school at his age 2. Like, dude, I and to your point, like for the LeBron and like that era, like maybe that Carmelo and all that, like that. Those are the guys now that are making me feel sort of older, because I do remember, to your point, like the high school games that ESPN would show back when this wasn't that normal, right? We didn't have the YouTube like highlight reels, right? This is like 2003, whatever, 2002, we were watching this. And then to go from that to a full 20 plus year NBA career, and I've seen it all beginning to end.
Yep.
Like you start to feel like, oh fuck, like, you know, we're just like, I'm the same age as LeBron James basically. Like it's insane to me that like I've watched this career of this guy beginning to end, because I did, you know, I saw Jordan, but obviously I missed the first decade of Jordan's career, right? Like I was probably watching basketball towards the latter half, you know, post first retirement, right? So I got to see him play, but not the way I got to see LeBron sort of beginning to end, right? Like when I saw Jordan, he was already amazing and he was already winning titles.
Right.
You know, I got to see LeBron struggle, win the title, struggle, win a title. You know, it's like that, yeah.
And dude, kudos to him too, man, because he came in with so much hype, and you know, covers of magazines talking about like the king, and he lived up to all of it and kept his nose clean and took care of his body, and it was just like
zero scandals,
and set records, and won championships,
stayed healthy for the most part. Dude, yeah,
I don't want to get into like who's the greatest, but like out of guys that I've seen and listen, I hated watching Jordan. I can look back now and appreciate what I was watching. I just hated him because I didn't like the Bulls. But to watch LeBron do what he's done over this 22-year period has just been incredible. I just feel blessed to be able to be able to have witnessed that.
The only thing I will say is the knock against Jordan, and it's not just against Jordan specifically, and it's something we were talking about off air before. They don't make humans like they didn't make them in Jordan's era the way they do now. LeBron is just such a physical specimen, bro, that I don't think it's close in terms of like one-on-one physical play. I just can't imagine. I think Jordan's sheer will, like Jordan has like some intangible qualities to him that you just like can't get over. But I go, if you're just talking about physicality and
he was just he was a sniper, bro.
He was, but I go like Jordan ain't posting up LeBron James, right? Jordan ain't. LeBron James arguably could play all 5 positions effectively.
Agreed.
Jordan's not doing that, right? Like you know, and he's not.
And that's true, but he didn't. But he didn't need to. And the dude was a stone cold killer.
No, that's not a knock on Jordan. It's just like I go. It's like, you know, when people talk about like the '85 Bears, like you're or like even any NFL teams in the '70s and '80s, and then you go back and look at the size of those guys and then compare them to like the shittiest player on the shittiest team today. and it's not even close. And then you go, oh yeah, and they're faster. Oh yeah, and they're more agile. Oh yeah, and they're just humans today, bro. Whatever the fuck is in our food, in the Starbucks, and whatever, bro.
And we were talking about this earlier, right? With seeing like our kids in high school, and like everybody's our height or taller.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But
there's something in the water, bro.
But the point that I said to you, man, like you're bigger than your dad. I'm bigger than mine.
I wouldn't know. I never saw him.
All right, so we'll just say you are.
Point taken.
You're taller than your dad. For those of you listening on the audio, I put air quotes around that. But no, man, and I'm watching, like my boys, they're 17, man, and we're looking eye to eye. And so I know within a year or so, man, they're gonna pass me. So I don't know what it is. It's the GMO, the fucking steroids in the chicken. I don't know what it is.
All it, but the Chipotle, whatever's in there, keep it popping.
Evolution.
Let's go. You think, we just have to be bigger now? Like, I don't know. This shit's whatever it is, bro. The fucking humans are getting massive, dude, massive. Because I couldn't believe I was I was in my daughter's high school and I'm looking at these kids and I was like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like asking ages. I'm like, what are you? Like, I'm a sophomore. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was living.
Now, man, so shout out to LeBron and
Bronny putting in the work, man, and getting there, man.
And making history.
Yeah. Listen, if this kid plays 1 year or 10 or whatever, I hope he has a great career. But put in the work to get there, made history. There's something that's never going to be able to get taken away.
And
from
bro,
him.
if he's coachable, he'll be fine.
And he seems to be, right? Like, to your point before about him, he doesn't seem to be a shithead kid. He seems to be a good kid. He seems to has like a good head on his shoulders. Like not to keep harping on LeBron, like, but again, this is something else. Like, you're talking about LeBron, a kid from a shitty part of Ohio, single parent household, or just raised by his mom, which by all intents and purposes should be pretty much of a loser human being. And not only that, like, obviously we've seen a lot of people in those situations make it to be pro athletes, and they don't handle the fame well, they don't handle the money well, they don't handle the spotlight well, the scrutiny, all that stuff. And LeBron has handled all of that, and I don't think we give him enough credit for the kid with no dad, the kid who grew up in Akron, Ohio, the kid the kid who had cameras on him at 16, 17 years old, following him to high school games, like
through the majority of his life,
and to be pretty much spotless, from a public persona perspective. Like, the worst thing we say about LeBron is he fucking held the special to announce that he was going to Miami.
Yes.
And also in that same special, he gave money to the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, I like too. But then the special also, all of the money from it didn't go to him. It went to raise money to the Boys and Girls. So it's like, I can't even be mad at that. Yeah. Like, it's like, it was a douchey move, but it's like, that's the worst criticism we ever have of this guy. It's like, okay, like, he won. So it's
no, you're right, bro.
So good for them, man. Bro, you know who's not going to have a long career or life?
Tell me.
Tua, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Tagovailoa.
Quarterback from the Miami Dolphins. I saw he was trying to come back this week. And I don't want to talk more sports.
Is it this week?
I think this week or next week. He's trying to make a comeback after that, concussion. And stuff with that. And I don't even, the conversation here for me isn't even about sports. It's, for those who don't follow sports, like, Tua has had multiple concussions, some of them very extreme. I think maybe because we can see them and can see his reaction to them, and for whatever reason his body reacts.
Yeah, like, he almost has like mini seizures.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, he freezes up, his body locks up. He's like you said, he looks like he has seizures. They knock him. I mean, it just doesn't look good. And clearly, like, knowing what we know now about what football does to you, and at least the repeated hits between the CTE and all that stuff, you see like the suicide rates amongst retired players has like been going up. You see like just like violent crimes, the life expectancy, all that stuff. Like, and unfortunately, you can't diagnose CTE until someone's passed. There's really not a lot of ways, I think, to sort of like get ahead of that without just not getting hit in the head. But you go, okay, this can't be good for him. And I think where I went to was, I don't even really care about the football portion. It's like about the life portion, like the human being. Like, we're just talking about LeBron and his son. It's like, if you're Tua, how much thought do you give into your quality of life in the future, like your family? I don't think he's married or has any kids yet and all that, right? And I think that plays a factor into his decision to continue to keep playing. I know the ego is part of it, right? Like we're, you know, like we're both men. There's a part of us that like doesn't want to quit on something like that. We don't necessarily like to.
Plus, man, the dude clearly loves the game, right?
Absolutely.
And so if you are spending the vast majority of your childhood, you know, honing your skills to get to the highest level, you finally get there, and then this thing is threatening, right?
Yeah. And it's what you know. It's your identity, right?
That's right.
Okay, I get that. Yeah. It's you don't know what it's like to not be Tua, the football player.
That's right. And listen, and I know that, you know, as we get older, like we know or we understand that, hey, like you are not what you do, right? You are not your job, right? So like I can say it to somebody, but to live that, to be, you know, to be in his position where you go like, yo, I've been the quarterback for X amount of time. Like this is what I do. If I don't do this, what else is there?
Yeah.
And there's plenty, but that's really hard to tell somebody in their 20s who is, you know, the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins to like, hey man, just give that up, you know, for your concussion, because right now I bet he feels phenomenal. Like right now.
Oh,
right, because he's had time to recover.
Right.
He probably feels like, man, I can go out there and play the rest of the season.
I can't believe I was even thinking about retirement
right.
a couple months ago, you know, whatever, 6 weeks ago.
You know, we all get to that, right? Like we get to that point where we're like, man, I feel great.
Yeah, you ever had a shitty cold and you're like, I want to die, you know, fever or whatever. You're like, fuck, man, this is atrocious. And then, you know, a week later, you're like, oh my God, you know,
COVID wasn't shit.
COVID ain't shit. And as a man, like I get it, the ego, right? Like I'm sure I have been hurt. I have had health scares, you know, that I for sure should have either gotten checked out or should have taken easy or should have whatever. And I, you know, quote unquote, you know, sort of powered through. And it's not on the same level as this. I think there's a lot of things here. If you're his family, right? Like if you're his parents, if you're his, again, I don't think he's married, or if he has a girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend. I don't know what his thing is like, but what are those people like saying to him, you know, talking to him? How do you, dude, if you just watch the videos of some of his concussions, it's really hard to watch. Like even as a fan, you're like, you sort of like cringe. And the NFL has done that to us a couple times in the last couple of years. It's funny, man, when we were watching people get just laid the fuck out, like with these hits up the middle and all that stuff, it was almost like normalized and we were desensitized to it. I think because the game has gotten so watered down now, it almost seems like when the injuries do happen, they're a little more extreme, or maybe we're just not used to seeing it as much.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the camera angles. I saw Brandon. Crazy. You see Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah,
this week, man, get his knee or his ACL, right?
His ACL, yeah, and they just make you like squeamish, like more than usual. You know, obviously we saw DeMar Hamlin like literally die on the field, and we saw a couple this weekend where they're like rolling out stretchers, and I was like, I find it harder to watch now, and I don't know, like I've been thinking about like why that is, and I don't know if it's like because we're so desensitized to a lot of shit. I think for me, it's like having kids, I think has changed my perspective on shit like that. Like, you know, like if I'm Tua's parents, I'm like, bro, like that. Yeah. But more importantly, if I'm Tua and I have kids, I think how I operate, like I'm a very, you know, like a thrill-seeking, adrenaline junkie, whatever thing. I have found that as I've had kids and my kids have gotten older, I'm sort of like less inclined to do those things. It doesn't make me more fearful, but it almost makes me like more careful of my life because I'm like, well, there's sort of people sort of relying on me now, or there's like experiences that I still want to have,
right? And
so maybe I don't want to risk it as much. And so the other part of me is like, man. Could Tua benefit from having kids right now to save himself from himself? You know, like
wow,
like
think about that.
Does that change your perspective? Because right now, Tua's got to worry about Tua, right? And all he, to your point, is like all he's thinking is like, I'm the football player. What am I? But besides that, right? Like he's not thinking I'm Tua the dad or Tua the husband or Tua like I'm not the protector, the provider, you know, for like a household or whatever it is. I'm sure he's taking care of his family, his extended family, but it like that hits a little different
than
when
your kids.
When it's your kids, yeah, and so. I never want to be the guy that reacts like I know the day that it happened, everyone was like, he's got to retire. It's like, you know, you never want to sort of like make a decision in that moment because the emotions are high because the video it is sort of like it's daunting, right? Like when you see it. But as time has gone on, I'm going, man, your body there's something wrong there. Either you've had too many, or you're just your brain or whatever doesn't like it. Maybe he's fine. Maybe it's not any different than the guys who have 12, 15 concussions and he's only had 5 or 6 and they just look worse, but they're actually the same. Like, I don't know enough to say that. It's just scary. I think you just feel like, man, is this going to be one of those things? Didn't Marino have to retire early? No, Steve Young had to retire early because
Young
of the concussions,
got retired,
right?
bro, because of
the concussions,
hits,
right?
The hits that and the hits were really they were vicious. Back then,
we didn't
give
a fuck.
I love the fact that they protect the quarterbacks now.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
people complain about it, but
bro, it's crazy.
We watch the NFL to watch quarterbacks play, to watch the offense, to watch the thing. Like, yes, whatever you guys could say, whatever you want about defenses. No one's tuning in to watch a defense, right?
Yeah.
Like no one was tuning in to watch like the Seahawks, keep people at 7. They wanted to watch Peyton Manning put up 40. So it's
very much so.
Yeah.
And I think that we watch people's lives, and in this case, like sports people's lives, right, through our own lenses, right? And so, I can only try to think back to the way that I was thinking in my early 20s to kind of put myself in his position. So I totally understand that he wants to continue playing. And I think that as we get older, we kind of come to grips with our mortality.
Yeah.
And so your perspective changes on things, and then there's things in your life that are really important, and then there's other things that used to be important that are not so important anymore. And so he's gonna have to just get to that space, and we're gonna have to sit back and just fucking watch. We can all make assumptions or what word am I looking for? Like say what we would do in that situation,
right.
But in reality, man, no one's living his life. I wish him the best.
Yeah, the Monday morning quarterback is easy from our perspective.
I hope that he has a very long career in the NFL. He's a fun guy to watch when he's on. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I also hope that he's looking out for his own best interest as his career moves on.
Yeah, and he seems like a good guy, and he seems like he said he's a competitor. I get it. And then it begged the question, like, should someone interfere and take the decision out of his hands? Should the team interfere? Should the NFL interfere? Should someone step in at that point and go, you're incapable of making a rational decision for yourself. Should they make that decision for him?
No.
And I don't disagree with you. The devil's advocate in me goes to, if I'm the NFL, I'm running a business. If Tua gets another one of these on the field and it's bad, do you have to worry about? So for football is already was losing viewership, right?
Is that right?
They're already losing participation at the younger, ages, right? Like parents are a little more aware now of what happens, and so they're like less likely. I'm be honest.
We're there too. We're there too.
Like if my son wanted to play football, I would. It would be very tough for me to be like, yeah, go ahead. Like, I not saying that it would be like a hard no. I would definitely try to talk him out of it. And that's also very ignorant coming from the fact that I love watching the NFL. Like I watch it, so like I get it. There's a hypocrisy there. But when it affects you, to a point, it's like, it's a little different. I don't give a fuck. Yeah,
that's my son.
So should you remove this because now you have to worry about the NFL as a business? If you're them, do you step in? Or, dude, we're kind of fucked up. Do you leave it and then you go, people don't care. And if it happens, like Damar Hamlin didn't hurt the ratings, maybe it actually made higher ratings because, we're kind of morbid and we want to watch and tune in and see if some shit happens. Like are people watching Dolphins game now going, I wonder if this fucking guy's going to... Like, the sick part of me probably will, right? Like, who is he playing? I'm watching when he plays the Niners. I want to see him get lit the fuck up by.
Like, the football is an extremely violent sport. I mean, I think we all know that. It's part of the reason that we watch it. And these guys are kind of like modern day gladiators, and we have to allow them to be that if that's what they choose to do in their career. Now, does it affect viewership? Maybe. Does it affect participation? From the early levels because people are witnessing this over and over on television. Maybe, But as far as profitability, I think the NFL's at its all-time high.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're definitely not hurting for money.
Yeah. So no, I don't think you make that choice for him. Could it turn out to be something really sad in the end? Yeah, but I think that's for him and his family to decide.
Because they've been lucky. DeMar Hamlin, the thing last year, they've had a couple of incidents where players, obviously, couldn't play again, had difficulty walking, whatever. Inevitably, knock on wood, but there's going to be a bad one. There's going to be a catastrophe. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right. Does it happen to a guy where you're all like, man, we all saw this coming? Like, 10 years from now, who knows what? Maybe Tua retires today, and 10 years from now, there's an after. We saw what happened with Junior Seau.
Yeah.
And we saw what it's like.
But I think in order to do that, you have to almost make a rule, right, where you say, hey, once you reach X amount of concussions, you can no longer play.
But is it the amount, right? I think that's where I'm ignorant to. Is like, is it just that his look worse? Because I think there's certainly players that have had more, right?
Absolutely.
I think the thing is
the whole shit where you get your bell rung.
Yes,
that's a fucking concussion,
that's a concussion.
bro.
Yeah. And so the whole thing with him is like, they just look so jarring. Mm-hmm. And so is there a way to go, because they are, or is it just like, hey, that's just his body and how it reacts?
Dude,
right?
Until we have a better way to
we just don't know
to test, man. I'd say you just leave it alone.
There's got to be a way to test your brain for like X amount of damage, and then just go, hey, at this point we pull you out. I mean, I'm sure we'll get there at some point in the future, but
bro, unfortunately, unless people are dying, there's really not going to be changes. Like, at least I think the NFL is doing what they can at this point.
And he's choosing not to wear that Guardian helmet.
That's the other thing. You've seen players this year wearing. If you guys have watched, the Guardian helmet is essentially like it's almost like a padding over the existing helmet.
Yeah, and a lot of people won't do it because they're afraid they look stupid.
And it does look stupid.
It does,
but who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? Yeah.
Right. And so he is a prime candidate for that. If he doesn't roll out with that bitch next week or
he
this
said
week,
no.
Yeah, then, dude.
He already said no, and they asked him why. He said, personal choice was his response.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. Like, yeah.
Okay, bro. Because you have proven that you do not know how to get tackled, don't know how to fall, don't know how to fucking slide.
Now, is that the concussions? They asked him, and Tua was like, yeah. And then they're like, this, but even with the concussions, and he's like, what concussions? What are you talking about? He's like, I'm making my NFL debut next week.
Dude, I'm another man, and I watch the NFL every week. I find myself when I watch any team, and the quarterback runs, when they're about to get hit, I'm like, slide.
Oh yeah,
slide. Like, don't take the fucking hit.
It depends on the quarterback for me. If it's Russell Wilson, I'm like, stay on your feet, motherfucker.
Stop hating.
Nah, to be fair, I do it to Dak too.
Dude, man.
And Lamar.
Dude, Lamar. Yo, yeah, of course for you. Dude, let's switch gears, man. Did you see this kid, man, in local kid, or in Orlando?
Yeah.
And I will not go into his name. You guys can look up the article if you want to. It's an underage kid. He killed himself over what was it? I don't want to say over. When I read the news article, but he was chatting. He was using this app, and he was chatting with essentially this AI chatbot.
Okay.
And it was the AI.
Did it tell you what app?
Yes.
Okay.
Character.ai.
Okay.
And so there's like it's a role playing app that lets users engage with AI generated characters.
Okay.
So he's talking to this thing, and multiple times through conversations, the kid is suicidal, and he kind of goes,
already.
It appears so.
Okay.
I don't believe that the chatting with the thing made him suicidal. I think that he's, judging from some of the things that were posted in the articles, it was like he would say things like, "Oh, I'm living in like a horrible world," and this AI generated character was a woman, right, or a girl, whatever, and they would chat back and forth, and even when he would talk about, oh, like I'm thinking about kind of ending it all, or and then she, like the chatbot would be like, oh, like come home to me.
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna be like, yo, it ran the math and it goes like, yo, you're right. You have nothing to live for. You know what I mean? That shit would be wild.
Tell me about your day.
Yeah, tell me about.
Yeah, you should definitely.
Yeah, you should definitely.
No, man, like super sad. And of course, like the
and you say he's a teen, right? You said
teen, 14 years old.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So
God damn.
The family is suing the company.
Okay.
But then again when I read some of this, and let me read some of this stuff. So like he's telling the chatbot, he goes, I promise I will come home to you. I love you so much. And the thing's name is like Danny. So Danny goes, I love you too. Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love. And then he tells it, what if I told you that I could come home right now? And she's like, please do, my sweet thing. So they have this thing, right, where, and I think that
he's taking that as
like, yeah, like, because I guess he would talk about that he wanted to commit suicide, or almost kind of like wanted to like end it all and kind of go to a better place. And then the thing is like, oh yeah, like almost like I'm here. Like,
yeah, it's not smart enough to like.
Yeah, it's fucking,
you're dead, or the better place isn't. Yeah, oh fuck.
And I'm looking at that, man, and I go, man, should they be able to sue that company? And then, what kind of responsibility does the kid has to take responsibility for this too, right? And it's, or should the apps? But is the app responsible, bro?
Nah, Florida Public Schools is responsible.
Then we should.
That's who's on trial.
We should go jump off the fucking balcony right after this. Then.
Nah, we started a podcast.
We got shit to live for.
Fuck, man. That's a. Oh man,
it's really fucking sad, man. Because we have, we have kids around that age.
Yeah, man. I can't even. I know I use a lot of comedy references because it's sort of like the lens that I see the world through. Because I try to find sort of like the humor in anything. But there's a great bit that Dave Chappelle opens one of his specials with. And he talks about a guy, who works at Foot Locker, who seemingly has nothing to live for. And he talks about all this shitty stuff that this guy has been through.
Yep.
And he goes, and then in there he throws in a basically he talks about in there somewhere, he talks about how shitty this guy's life is and how he runs into him like years after high school, basically now present day, and this guy used to have it made, and then now he's working at Foot Locker, right, as like a 50-year-old or whatever, right? And then he talks about how Anthony Bourdain killed himself, and basically the premise of the joke was like, yo, this guy, all this stuff, he goes like, should have killed himself, I would have understood it, like the guy working at Foot Locker or whatever at 50, right, and then but he didn't. And he's like, but Anthony Bourdain, who's, celebrity, wealthy, and
seemingly everything to
live for, and did it. And I think the complexity in that joke and the thing was just like, it's like the cliche of like, you just don't know what people are going through or
mentally,
right. And the thing that sort of triggers that. And so like, I think understanding that nuance, I don't know who you hold, like to your point, it's like, you have to hold him sort of accountable, but also he's 14. You want to hold the company accountable, but also they don't, this is a new technology, there's all this stuff, like you can't, at what point do we draw the line and say that some company's responsible for like other people's actions? Like that's a tough one for me. And we all have free will, right?
Yeah, and I think from the chats, at least from the excerpts that I read, it appeared that, he didn't necessarily say like, "Oh, I want to kill myself." It was just like, "Oh, like this world is so bad. Like I wanna be where you are."
Yeah,
and then that thing is going like, "Oh yeah, definitely. Like come to me."
I think the hard part I have, like, essentially having an opinion on who's at fault here is that I think when you're dealing with something like my point of bringing up the joke is like that is so. Obviously personal, so unique. We don't understand enough about mental health in general, and like that it's hard for me to place the blame game because I don't think we you could rightfully put responsibility on anyone. And like, yes, I think at the end of the day, we have control of our own things. And so I don't think we should put that on other people. The uniqueness here goes like, well, he's a minor. Where do companies have a sort of
a
responsibility to act right on behalf of the minor? But then where's the parent? You know, like there's so many layers of that, right?
I was gonna say, like, if you're, so we are talking about a minor, so then why isn't the mother, you know, like monitoring his online activity? You know what I mean? But I get it.
And
you know
maybe
what?
she is, right?
And like, I don't monitor my kids' online activity 100%.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Because you don't. Yeah, it's tough. It's so sad because again, he's a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah. But he ends up shooting. He ends up shooting himself. Man.
Oh, that's
where that was the method. The
mom's gun, dad's gun, stepdad's gun.
I want to say dad's gun. I think. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know
So then you go like
now you go. Why that shit locked up?
Right. Yeah. Cause there's just a lot of I don't know, man.
A lot of layers, man. And I just think that as in this society, you know, we always look to blame somebody else instead of looking in the mirror.
It is, but you know, man, I think we don't know how people react. I always have a tough time with like the shit that's mental, right? Like in terms of like trauma or people having gone, like we don't know what this kid's gone through. You don't know, like if you're suicidal, clearly there's some other things going on like already. And so like it's, but I was just watching this thing on the Menendez brothers, right? Like, and the argument now for the Menendez brothers, obviously, who murdered their parents or whatever, is like they were sexually abused and stuff by their dad, and so it's like, should the abuse, if it's true, seems to be, I don't know, but like, if the abuse is true, like, should that play a factor in holding them accountable, and for how long for the murder of the parents, right? I think we're not at a point yet as a society where we have a full understanding of what happens to the brain in specific scenarios across the board, right? Like we could say to everybody, it's like, hey, if you consume X amount of salt, like you're gonna get fucking high blood pressure. If you do, like, we don't know yet, like, hey, and that number is different for everyone, but it's pretty consistent, right? Like, you know, like most people, hey, if you eat like shit, you're gonna have a heart disease. In terms of our brains, we don't really have a barometer yet for going like, hey, this person consumed, you know, this, and that consumption could mean it isn't food, right? It's like their abuse, it's trauma, it's like their surroundings, it's their environment, like whatever. To like say, hey, that leads to this. And so I think it makes it hard now with these like scenarios where because we only know how to act one way. It's like, hey, no, hold them accountable because like that's what we say, but we don't factor in everything else that sort of happened. Like with, and I guess the counter argument to that would be if you had some health issues, we would be like, well, you should have eaten better. Well, you should have taken care of your body. Well, you should have exercised. Well, you should, you know, like there's that aspect and the element of it too. Yeah.
Dude, did you see, I just brought something to mind. The Aaron Hernandez series that's on, I think it's on Hulu.
I saw bits and pieces.
So you have,
I think,
you
I
have to
haven't
watch
seen
it,
the whole
bro.
thing. Yeah,
you have to watch. So I'm not done with it yet. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's really good, bro.
Is it better? He did a Netflix one that I tried to watch. I couldn't get through it. But
this one is amazing, man. So it kind of goes through. Just speaking of mental health, it kind of goes through his personal mental health issues and struggles. And you start to really empathize with him and you go, fuck, man, like, what's that like? What's that like to deal with? And then couple that with the brutality of football. And in that position, you know, tight ends, bro. Tight ends get fucking...
Every play, you're getting blasted.
You're getting blasted. And then when you catch the ball, everybody's trying to knock your fucking head off because you're bigger than everybody.
And you're getting, I was going to say, and you're getting blasted by the biggest guys on the field.
That's right.
Nah, yeah.
Dude, that one is like so far it's been phenomenal.
Dude, and that's a great point. Like that's another one. It's like, yes. So we're like, hey, yeah, Aaron Hernandez should be held accountable for the murder, right? Like, but then the other part, you got to go, hey, what? How much of that stuff like the hits? How much did IQ? How much did, mental stability, instability? How much of his upbringing, where he was, like, play into? I think we're sort of like, obviously we're more open now with the whole mental health thing and all that, but like we really don't know the effects, and then we don't let that be an excuse, right? Like for it, we don't go, oh yeah, but they grew up in a shitty environment, so they're okay to murder, and it's not, right? Like there's definitely, I'm not saying that we shouldn't hold people accountable. I think what I'm saying is like we should figure out like, hey, what the fuck drove them to that?
Right.
Yes, you hold them accountable, but then how do you help that person recover from that? It's not, maybe it's still life in prison, but maybe it's, you help them recoup.
Because how did he die? Did he kill himself?
He killed himself.
Right?
Yeah,
Did he kill himself in prison?
In prison.
I thought so.
He killed himself in prison under very, again, you never know anyone, but he had hired, Casey Anthony's lawyer to sort of file an appeal.
Fucking
Baez. And then Baez had successfully filed like certain motions for him. It seemed, I don't know that he would have won any of his appeals, but it seemed like he at least had some hope where it's like, hey, see those through. So it seemed like a very curious time for it to happen, which again, because you just don't know what people are thinking and what they're going and what triggers and all that thing. So
no, it's been really good, man. If you guys get a chance to watch it, definitely it's on Hulu.
But yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, to your point, we don't want to say this boy's name, local boy, but
no, definitely not.
Tragic. It fucking sucks, and it also leaves open to like AI. Surely this won't be the last.
No,
there's going to be a lot of scenarios like this. Like, how do you? Yeah, from like what you were saying before, like to your point, like from an accountability perspective, like where do these companies need to sort of step in and ensure that, because they monitor message boards and they monitor everything else. I guess this isn't anything different. Like we have to get to I think a point where I'm sure what they'll do is they'll basically ban this thing from saying specific keywords, and then they'll make it look for keywords and
or alert someone.
Send alert. Yeah. I'm sure that's where it'll go, and it'll be smart enough to do that and pick up on speech patterns and like a specific trigger words that people will say and all that. I'm sure we'll get to that, but I'm always like anti. Not that I don't want to hold corporations responsible, but like for the hot coffee, I'm kind of like, yeah, you should. You knew it was hot.
You knew it was hot. Right.
Yeah, so I think common sense should prevail on a lot of things.
Yeah,
and I think unfortunately, it's one of those things where like if I think it's up to the parents and the individual, and
yeah. Yo, there was another. There was a South Carolina inmate that recently was put to death. He was on death row, put to death. They gave him the option of how to die. So,
what are the options? Let's go.
Options are 3 options.
Okay.
Lethal injection.
Okay. Boring.
Electrocution.
Okay.
Firing squad.
A little more pizzazz. Let's fucking go. Let's up the ante. Fireman squad, but can you set me loose in like a fucking like Hunger Games type environment? Y'all got 24 hours to kill me.
Catch me.
But I could kill back.
But if I get past the state line, y'all can't touch.
Y'all can't touch. Oh, that shit would be amazing. Maybe that should be the fucking reality show. We should let death row inmates. You set them loose in like fucking Haiti, and you're like, yo, if you can make it to Dominican Republic, yeah.
So this guy chose, drum roll, lethal injection.
What? Oh,
Dude, I feel like that's the kind of the peaceful thing to do.
What a cock.
But I'm kind of going like,
bitch ass.
Man, I might pick firing squad.
Fuck yeah, that's how I'm picking fire. First off, it's
do I get blindfolded and shit and get a cigarette?
Yeah, right. Old school. Nah, bro. I want to go out in a blaze of glory. Like firing squad. I just like, let's fucking go, and then just having people just go off on me. I don't want to sit there blindfolded.
Can you request to be like coked up?
Yeah, let me go. Yeah, last meal. Like what? An 8 ball. They're like, oh, we got steak from fucking Roof Chris. No, an 8 ball.
You ever seen Scarface?
Yes.
That's how I want to go.
I'm like, I want it 30 minutes before the firing squad shows up. It's about to go down. No, just let me fucking go. Hey, I think we should make this shit more entertaining. I think you should be allowed to just make up a whole scenario about how you get to go, and then just, bro, just make up the most elaborate shit ever. Oh,
dude, is firing squad? I guess. I mean, I haven't. This is South Carolina. I didn't even know this shit was a thing anymore.
Yeah, I think there's only a couple of states that do this anymore.
Do they blindfold you? Do you get to fucking look at this? Or is your back turned to these guys? Like, I need a video.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, right. We need video is fucking televised. I pay-per-view that shit.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about that on here before. We need to pay-per-view executions when they're exciting. And do some green mile shit.
Lethal injection's kind of whack.
Yeah, that's a bitch ass way to go.
I would pay for electrocution.
Yeah, that shit would be kind of
firing
fire.
squad.
Electrocution, but I want you to do it in the most inhumane condition possible. Like, give me a car battery.
Why did I just think of that?
Because we're both fucked up.
As soon as you said the most inhumane way possible, I immediately thought about a car battery.
Car battery and a metal chair and a puddle. Just fucking, yeah. I don't want the lethal injection is the most, I have already hated that method of, to me, like, I know people want to make arguments of whether or not lethal, fucking executions are humane or not. I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just saying if we're gonna do it, like, let's make it fucking count. Like, let's, especially when you hear like some heinous ass crime that someone did and you're just like, oh, we're just gonna put you to sleep like a fucking puppy that's like suffering. Like, no, like, make this shit fun.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I put the dog that I love.
We euthanize people. Yeah, fuck out of here.
Fuck that.
Nah, I think we should make that shit painful.
Yeah, if you're on death row, it ain't because you was a nice guy or girl.
I'll take it one step further. I think on the fireman squad, we should let the family partake. Like family of the victim. I think that shit would be amazing. And then, or bro, just like do some again some Hunger Games shit. Like, hey, we gonna set the whole family on an island and just you. If you get off, you're free.
Oh man,
and pay-per-view.
But and you know what? And then somebody will fucking get free.
Yeah,
it'd be fucking made.
Chaos. It'd be amazing. Yeah. Yo, Bobby Bones took out the whole Delgado family last week.
What kind of menace do you gotta be? You fucking take out the whole family.
That'll be the time you get like some fucking army ranger,
fucking Rambo
with a fucking twig, and he just takes out an entire family of like 67 people. Bro, that shit would be amazing. Oh man!
Turns out he was like the lone survivor in the whole Iraq war.
Yeah, he watched every Mark Wahlberg movie ever. He's like, I got this. Shit would be amazing, bro. Oh fuck! See, the government doesn't come with us for answers. Listen, and charge people for that shit. The money could go back to the government that you guys can invest in infrastructure, lower taxes, whatever. Like, you know,
we got ideas, people.
Yeah, come to us. We're trying to help y'all. We're trying to fix the deficit. We're trying to listen. Vote for the carbon footprint. Fuck these other candidates. Write in carbon footprint. Okay. We're fluid as far as who's VP and president. Depends on the week and what the topic is. We got this. Fucking, see, we got the answers. No one comes to us, man. It might be the alcohol.
This is true. Make sure that shit's flowing, freely.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you at one point. I go, man, I really need to get some juice in this, and then now I'm like, it tastes great.
No man, just throw some Ancho Reyes on that.
I did. That shit is wild.
Yeah, man, how we doing on time?
Dude, we're 52 minutes in.
Perfect. Talk to me about this woman that travels the Northern Lights.
Man, have you? So I don't know if you've seen like the Northern Lights have been visible in
like in New
Jersey.
York. Yeah.
Super crazy. Like the prettiest pictures I've ever seen of New Jersey for the Northern Lights. New Jersey's a shithole for the most part. The prettiest thing in New Jersey is the George Washington Bridge from the other side, where you can see New Jersey in the distance. Like, I'm gone. Fucking but this woman, bro, has been to 4 different countries in an attempt to see the Northern Lights, and just saw it for the first time in her backyard. Has missed them every time.
Get the fuck out.
And was able. I wish it would tell me what state I had it. I didn't clip the rest of the article, but 4 different countries, try to see the Northern Lights, has never seen them. One of them on there was I think it was Iceland.
Gotta be Iceland.
It was like Canada, like so. Yeah. But
Like Iceland is the fucking place to go.
And
right?
they were saying her family and her dad or her husband, took a picture, I think sent to their kids or something, of her in the backyard looking at the Northern Lights, like crying. And he goes like, and we saw them in our fucking backyard. And they spent all this money and trips and all that stuff.
I mean, since it's Jersey, is her dad and her husband one of the same?
Oh, so, yeah, probably. But this wasn't in Jersey. She was in I think she was in Minnesota or somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember where she was. It doesn't say it on here. I felt like I saw it on the whole article and I only took this section. But,
no worries, man.
But it wasn't. She wasn't in New Jersey. I know that she wasn't specifically in New Jersey. But you could see them in New Jersey. You could see them in Colorado. You could see them in Minnesota.
It was really like in the northern states.
Yes, and beautiful. Like I see pictures on social and stuff of people.
Anybody because New York City, there's too much light pollution.
Yeah,
typically to see shit like that.
Yeah.
But I wonder.
I'm sure someone in upstate had to have seen something. Yeah. But I didn't see any pictures specifically from New York. I did see a few from Jersey. I saw a few from Minnesota. I saw a few from Colorado. There was another northern state.
And this is like in the last week or two, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought so.
I just thought it was crazy, man. Like if you're her, you spend all this money, you do these vacations, and I'm sure there's disappointment in not being able to see them. I'm sure you still had some great memories, but then to just walk out into your backyard one night and just the Northern Lights are there.
Dude, that was. I mean, dude, not for nothing, man. For her to have traveled to those countries and missed it. And then to go, oh shit! And then, like you said, to walk out there, that had to be a phenomenal experience for her. And still not regret, right? Going to
no, because as I say, and it's like things making an impact. I'm sure those trips all had some type of effect on her, bro. And some memories and some conversations, and some life lessons learned. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Had to. Dude, when I went to Alaska, and I think I went in like that May-June time frame, which is when it's mostly light. Dude, that shit is cool, man. I didn't get to see any northern lights or anything like that.
So you went for it's never dark, basically. It's daylight.
It's not dark for long. Put it that way. Like I want to say
3 hours or something.
Yeah, it's a few hours, and the hotel that I stayed in had like blackout shades, so it was cool. So you can still sleep. Your room is fucking dark as shit.
Okay,
but you can see like the light outline. Like you see like the sunlight like outline.
It's like 3 a.m. and it's
and it was so creepy. Matter of fact, I think I got up. And I want to say it was like 3:30 in the morning because I saw that outline and I go, no fucking way. And I walked over to the window and kind of opened the shade and looked, and I was like, fucking hey, it's light outside.
Do you think your clocks are wrong at that point, like when you're there?
No, because I knew, right? Like I knew that was a thing, but it's one of those things that you go, I can only experience this like here.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. It's something that that's insane. I always think of that movie with Robin Williams, it's the serial killer with the photographer. I can't remember the name of it, but it's in like fucking Alaska and it never gets dark.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called Insomnia, actually, or Insomniac, something like that.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
But he doesn't fucking sleep. It's like, it's always bright out and all that. So I'm pretty sure it's Robin Williams. It's a good movie. Yeah, you should watch it. It's like a suspense thriller.
Oh, good.
But I always think of that whenever I hear someone mention the fact that it doesn't get dark in Canada. I just think, in Alaska, what I think about is
but then there's other parts that right in like the wintertime, there's a portion where it's only light for a few hours.
Yeah. There's there's only dark. And it's only light, right? It's only dark and it's only light. Yeah, for certain parts of the, that's gotta be. It's fucking depressing at certain parts. I don't know, man. Maybe when it's always bright out, you're fine, but your body, like your circadian rhythm's got to be completely fucked at that point in time.
Well, motherfuckers live up there, man. So
yeah,
it's gotta be doable.
Yeah, I guess, bro. They just don't know any better. They've never been down here. Yo, nobody who lives in that comes down to like fucking California and goes, nah, I'm gonna go back. Like you can't.
Dude,
right?
There's people that like that shit up there, man.
Do you like it, or do you just have Stockholm syndrome? You're just used to that shit, the abuse. Like you know how like shit that the unknown, like we're scared of the unknown, right? Like so we get so like somebody like that will come down here, they're like, oh, I don't know, man. The fucking sun goes up and down like
it's probably not
every
that. It's probably
for
the
like
people.
half the day. Like it's just.
It's probably the people, man. They got those fucking shows, right? Where it's like living like life below zero.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't most of that shit take place in Alaska? Yeah.
Ice road truckers.
Fuck. I don't even know what that means.
You ever see ice road truckers, bro? They're literally driving on roads that only exist in certain temperatures because they're frozen over like lakes and shit.
Get the fuck
And some of it is like they're just driving through like iced roads,
Yeah.
literally, because of whatever. But some parts of that show, bro, they're crossing into certain parts of certain places, like remote fucking Canada or whatever. And the road, it's like, oh, we can only take this at this time of the day, during this time of the year, during this whatever, because they're literally driving over frozen ice. And if it cracks,
I was gonna say, so I'm assuming in the show shit cracks
oh yeah,
all the
every
time.
fucking commercial break is like, and then it's like cuts to a commercial break. You're like, oh no, is he gonna make it? Spoiler alert, they always fucking make it, but that's the whole premise of the show.
It's like finding Bigfoot, man.
Yeah, oh bro,
It should just go on forever.
and they're never gonna end that show. There's never gonna be a series finale of Finding Bigfoot, right? Because they're never gonna find him,
No.
right? Ever.
And these ice truckers, they're too smart. They're not gonna fall through the ice. they know when to fucking go through.
They're too smart.
Sorry, I didn't know.
I think we're gonna have a Teen Mom in perpetuity. I think MTV's had that show for fucking 20 years now.
Dude, talk to me about the Royal. What's this Royal Caribbean shit?
Oh, bro. This is now I'm starting to understand. All the people who were giving Carnival cruises shit. I don't know, man. Royal Caribbean.
Carnival, shout out to Carnival, man.
Royal Caribbean not looking so great this week, man. So
What they doing?
so this Royal Caribbean crew member he was filming nearly 1,000 passengers in bathrooms using hidden cameras, and he would hide under their beds. And he was catching everything from minors to bro. This is some
the fuck?
fucking weirdo. I mean, he looks like a
was
weirdo.
hiding under the bed. Was a little dude.
He would hide. Yeah, I mean, he must be. Yeah, and then his name is
Yeah, we can blast.
yeah,
him.
we fuck this guy. Arvin Joseph Mirasol. He's 34. He was arrested on federal charges and 6 charges in state circuit court in Broward County, Florida. Dude, he was putting cameras in the guests' bedrooms and hid in their staterooms, recording them while they took off their clothes, with one of his targets being as young as 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, he's putting cameras in like people's bathrooms, everything, and just like fucking being a peeping Tom.
Dude. Dude, if you find
That's Carnival behavior, Royal Caribbean. I'm appalled. I've never
man.
taken a cruise, and people are trying to talk me into this shit. Now I'm like, fuck that.
shout out to Carnival.
Actually,
man.
you know what? If I found a camera, this is the weird shit. If I found my camera, and because I knew some dude was beeping, the shit I would do into the camera just to fuck with this dude.
But dude, could you imagine finding somebody under the bed?
Oh.
Dude, I would lose my mind.
No, he's getting thrown overboard, right? Like,
I think I would lose my mind and then go, I blacked out.
Yeah, I'd be
Which
like,
has actually happened before.
and I'd be like, I would like to request a firing squad with that dude's family.
See, and this is why you should travel on Carnival.
Yeah,
Carnival fucking rocks.
Carnival.
Carnival fucking rocks. Let's go.
Everybody I talk to said Carnival is like the Kia Rio of cruises.
They lying, bro. They going on the wrong one, bro. Listen, for all you pole motherfuckers out there taking a 3-day cruise down the Bahamas, yeah, I get it. But yes, dude, I told you, man, we traveled on the Carnival Vista on a week cruise. That shit was amazing.
A Vista?
Yep.
Yeah, people always try to convince me to go on a cruises, and I'm like, see, now
you have
I
to
gotta
go.
worry about some dude in the bathroom diddling himself to me. I'm uncomfortable.
I'll give him something to do himself about.
Bro, I would have think of just like, trying to do the weirdest shit on camera back to this guy. Like, oh, I'm about to gross you out. Like, just think of the most.
Oh man.
A fucking crazy
Dude.
person, bro.
Let's finish off, man. Let's go with this. What's going on with the pizzeria?
Yo, this pizzeria in Germany is being. I feel like they're not treating it fairly, but they got busted for including a side item with their pizza that the authorities disagreed with. So the German police raided a pizzeria.
Okay, hold on. This is in Germany.
Yeah, it's in Dusseldorf, Germany. Yep.
Okay, and they're doing. They have pizza.
They're
in
including.
Germany?
Yeah, evidently they do.
All right.
Yeah, so they have pizza, and this place has been kicking ass. It's been getting a lot of orders. Pizza's been going wild.
Okay.
And they've been including a popular special item number 40, is what it's called. and the pizza was being served was a side of cocaine.
Get the fuck outta here,
And the
bro.
food inspectors had alerted authorities after noticing
they on
long lines for the pizza.
Were they on death row?
Fucking people out there, bro. Like, I want pizza from that German spot.
I want pizza for my last meal, but it gotta be from Germany.
Yeah, you imagine getting the electric chair on fucking cocaine. You're like, let's go. Fucking Yo, just yelling at the dude that's got to pull. Yo, because if you're the guy that's got to pull the lever on that shit, like, that's got to fuck with you a little bit, right?
I would think so.
Oh, bro, I'd be
man.
talking shit. So much shit. Let's go, pussy. Pull the lever.
Dude,
Take the mask off.
So this is just is it like some mom pop shop?
It's just a mom and
I
pop
guess so,
shop.
right?
It isn't a food chain.
Like it wasn't. So it wasn't like a chain.
No, and then the police confronted the 36-year-old manager, and he threw a bag of drugs from his window, which fell into their hands while they were trying to raid him. The stash included 3.5 pounds of cocaine, 14.1 ounces of cannabis, and $290,000 in cash.
Wow.
And then after he got released, the manager reopened the pizzeria and resumed selling the cocaine-laced pizza.
So hold on. So he was lacing the pizza with cocaine.
Yeah.
So you ingest it.
Yeah.
Not sniff it.
Yeah, and people were just having it. Oh, and I think he included a little side of it too.
Oh,
But
okay,
The
okay.
lines were out the door for
of
the
course.
pizza. They couldn't. Yeah. So it's like,
Dude, when I was a kid and like teenager, there was a store on like just around the corner from me. So I left as a very early teenager. I left New York as an early teenager. But when I went back like to visit, there was one of the little bodegas like around the block from where I lived that would sell weed out of the store.
it's amazing.
And it was like
You had to know the code word, right?
no, and it was funny, Max. I went up there and my friends at the time were like, "Oh, yo, like if you want to get it, like the good shit is from Lotto," and I'm like, "Who the fuck is Lotto?" And they go, "Oh no, right there on Second Ave, like there's a store. It fucking says Lotto on top. Like you go in there," and I'm like, "What?" I go in there and I fucking ask for it.
You asked for it.
And he go, "Yeah."
Like you're asking for a pound of cheese at the deli.
Bro, so it was one of those. So picture the boy they got right fucking the thick ass plexiglass with the fucking box that spins. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because we can't have nice things. Yeah.
Yes. Dude, literally walked in there and go, "Yeah, let me get a dime bag." And then the guy goes, "You bought from in here before?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was like, he points to the box. I fucking throw the $10 in there. That spins around. He puts the fucking bag in there. Spins around. I walk out.
Your dime bag was $10 back then. When was this?
That was probably like 17.
Yo, see,
man.
inflation ain't hit the
Inflation.
weed market so recently, bro. Dime bag was $10 when I was a teen, man.
Yeah, man. What is it now?
I think
I have no fucking clue.
it's significantly more.
Like $40?
I don't know. I just heard it might be about $47.
Poo poo in them told me.
Poo-pooing them. So, word on the street is that it used to be $10. Let's see. It was about 10. See, the internet don't know shit, man.
What is it saying?
We're gonna go with. No, you were right. It's like $30-$40 now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Some places 50 depending on the type. So some 75 if you get some high end weed. That's hilarious. You know what it is that like the legal weed has actually driven up the prices on certain things too because
Oh, I believe it.
legal weed is so expensive. Which I'm like, yo, you guys are just making it so where the guys who are selling the illegal shit are still in business because it's
Right.
much cheaper to pay the 30 than go pay 75, 80.
And dude, and I know people that still get it off the street because they say the street shit is better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just the quality of it or whatever?
Again,
I mean, I can vouch for that.
these
I
are
had a
not-
slush shit we talked about on here once that almost killed me a few months ago.
I mean, I can't really vouch for the people that told me that, but yeah.
The thing. All right. Before we head out, we got to touch on Yankees Dodgers real quick.
Yes.
This series might be over by the next time we do an episode. So Yankees Dodgers
Starting on Friday.
starting on Friday. Yep, and ending by next Saturday would be Game 7. So we will do one more pod
wow.
between here and then if it goes to 6 or 7 games. This is the most. We've had more matchups Yankees Dodgers in a World Series than any other matchup.
I think the Yankees are up like
8-3 in the World Series. Yep. But I think meetings, as far as games go, they're even. Wow. Their record is even through. It's something really bizarre where they've always even through. Like let's say they play 6 games, they're always even, and then 10 games they're even, and then it's not like sometimes it gets lopsided where one will win 10 in a row, and then the next one will win 15 in a row or whatever, like the records get lopsided. There's something really crazy. I forget where I saw it, but it was I think it was on ESPN or on social, where the Yankees and the Dodgers have, however many games they played, they almost always just alternate. It's 50-50. So, that, which means that this series might go, 7 or just be
I hope
super
it does,
interesting.
bro.
Yeah.
I really, as a Yankee fan, I want them to get it over with. I
want the shit over for Yankees.
Right?
Yeah.
But historically, and this is what we try to touch on here on this show, right? Things that are kind of make an impact. Historically, we have the home run leader from the National League on the Dodgers and the home run leader of the American League on the Yankees.
And the 2 most popular players in baseball. I would say 3 and 3. There's a trio of, but the Dodgers, you talk about Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and then on the Yankees is Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, obviously Aaron Judge.
Yep.
Probably 6 Hall of Famers in that just knows, and not talking even about the rest of the team. Storied franchises. Obviously, I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm a little biased towards that. But storied franchise, the Dodgers are a storied franchise.
This is an MLB dream.
Oh my God, this is if you're the MLB, you couldn't have. I mean, this is Jordan, versus. I'm trying to think of who in Jordan's era would have met this. What the equivalent of this would have been for basketball fans. This would be Jordan versus Kobe in the 98, 99 or 99, maybe Jordan versus Shaq in the 99, 2000, say NBA finals or something like that. If Jordan would have just stuck around 2 more years or 1 more year, or even hell, it would have been Jordan's team versus the Magic with Penny and Shaq and all that. That's what this would be in their prime. This was a very and I know we got that in the Eastern Conference Finals, but just
correct.
I'm talking about those 2 in their prime.
It's just it's must see. It's must see baseball.
It couldn't have happened if you were hand selecting teams and players and stuff at the beginning of the year. This is who you would have picked.
And to think that we could have gotten the Mets and the Guardians.
Oh, it's amazing. You would have gotten the worst series or the best series all within a day or 2 of it happening, right? It's crazy. Yeah, you could have gotten the worst or the greatest a series on paper in terms of ratings and all that,
and fan bases, bro.
Yeah,
it's
East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. So if you don't watch baseball, or if you haven't in a while, this is probably the series to watch. I hope it goes. I hope it's a great series, no matter what. But fuck the Dodgers, go Yankees.
Yeah, fuck. I was literally about to say that. Yeah, but fuck the Dodgers, go Yankees. How do you feel? Any predictions?
It's fucking Yankees, bro. Yankees in 6. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Fuck you, Dodgers. Fuck you, Ohtani. Learn English, asshole.
Yo, and on that, tell them where they can find us.
Yo, at the Carbon Football Podcast. Specifically, if you are not following us on YouTube, we're at the Carbon Football Podcast on YouTube. Get on there ASAP. Last week's episode 204, we actually have a whole extra segment towards the end of the episode that is only available on the YouTube. So make sure you guys go hit that up. At the Carbon Football Podcast on IG. The Carbon Football Podcast on Facebook. At Carbon FP Pod on TikTok and X. Or at Carbon Football Podcast on TikTok, at Carbon FP Pod on X. And then all your favorite audio platforms, man. Audible, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that. The Carbon Football Podcast. Ask your smart device to play us. And spread the word. Tell your friends. Tell them you hate us, love us, whatever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Just have them listen.
And you got something for the people this week.
What
do you not?
Me?
Yeah, a quote or something that you got. Did you have?
Oh, dude, I had a quote from a book you recommended, which I almost gave up on, and I'm glad I stuck with it. And it was 50 Cent's book, and he was talking in there about you know, I think his generosity, and as he's gotten sort of a richer and more successful about a legacy and giving away money. And yeah, man, and there's a quote that stuck with me, and it was the givers will have the strongest presence in their absence. Wow. And I thought that was, you know, I'm sure that was 50's ghostwriter or whatever, but I was like, bars, bro. And I heard it, I had to pause it, rewind it, listen to it again. So the givers will have the strongest presence in their absence. And he was just talking about, you know, being generous and giving with whatever it is that you have, whatever resource, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's knowledge, whether it's whatever. It's just like, I think he's at a point in his life and his career now where like the money doesn't matter to him anymore. Right. He wants to leave behind a legacy.
Yeah.
And
I want to add to that. And I want to add to that as give without expectations. Because expectations lead to disappointment.
Yeah. That's how I live my life.
All right, and on that, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.